They're friends.
The effective use of this amphibian immigrant, which is doing its full share of benefit to our sugar industry.
To get a colony of toads together and bring them back to Australia and establish a colony here.
Amplexus is a sexual act. By getting his forearms, you'll notice are very, very strong, and he pushes them into the side just under the ribs. And on the thumb there is a nuptial pad. This nuptial pad is very, very sticky, so that when he pushes the thumbs and his hands into the side of the abdominal grip, it's very, very strong and firm. Of course, it's important that this grip be strong so that he doesn't fall off. She takes him into the water and she exudes the eggs in long strands.
Elliott was charged after he was found crouching on the side of a road at Birkenhead in Adelaide. Police say Elliott was jumping out onto the road into the path of oncoming cars.
Where you are, no matter where you roam, you can hear them from afar. They hop and they dance to every romance. Queensland toads, Queensland toads, they're everywhere you are. In the cane on the road, there'll always be Queensland toads.
Hello.
Yes, John?
Is this a tall toad story?
That's right. I was in Gordon Bay when they first released the Kain.
Places for them to live around our gardens, under garden gnomes, in pipes, under houses.
Quite a few which I attract.
They use kids because the way they hide, and they're cunning enough to peek out behind things. They can be behind a leaf or something like that. If you're quick enough, you'll see their eyes watching wherever you go.
I definitely think they're a harmless animal.
At Gordonvale, on the road approaches to Cairns.
The council eventually came to the conclusion it wasn't in their best interest to do so. This was personally...
The toad's the same. The next best alternative.
First, the female was dead, and had been for some time. Secondly, of course, it appears strange that the male should be so intent as to fail to observe the female's condition at the middle of the road. The sexual drive appears strong enough.
These Kain toads, they actually had little dresses made up for them, little skirts and beds in a doll's house. They used to dress the toads up and tuck them into their little beds, to set up little tea parties, and stick their legs up into the air and just fall asleep, I suppose, alive. Just so ugly.
It could only be another Kain toad, 'cause when you love a Kain toad,
well, there's a number of popular misconceptions about Kain toads, one of which is that they feel disgusting, have a nice silky poison, and this is also not true. Any distress at all. In fact, I think they quite like it.
Though a Kain toad.
Frogs to small birds to caterpillars to insects, crabs, all sorts of things. In fact, one researcher showed that the toad will even try and eat ping pong balls as they bounce past the front of them.
They actually had little dresses made up of little skirts and beds in a doll's house. They used to dress the toads up, tuck them into their little beds, to set up little tea parties, and stick their legs up into the air and just fall asleep, I suppose, alive.
He's dead.
Well, I line them up with the driver's side front wheel. I know I've made a clean kill, particularly if the toad is actually facing towards the vehicle, because the air that's inside the toad is trapped within the head and blown out towards the back end, and the toad really goes off with a bang like a balloon going off. Well, I really go out of my way to run over Kain toads, basically because I have a very profound love of the wildlife that occurs here naturally. if it was possible to remove them and totally eradicate time, doing exactly that.
Anyone tried to hurt one of my toads,
These 8 toads at one sitting. Come the wet season in the top end in the world-famous wetlands, you're going to have enough dry season with hundreds of thousands of toads just like